If your pantry constantly feels messy, no matter how many times you try to organize it, the problem isn't that you need more containers or that you need to decant everything. It's the system. A functional pantry should make it easy for you and your kids to grab a quick snack or make a meal and be able to put everything back away where it belongs. So today, I am walking you through how I reset and organize my pantry using the M method. Hi, I'm Monica of Simplify with M. I'm a professional organizer and mom of 3, and I help families create simple systems that make everyday life feel less overwhelming. Let's get started on this pantry. So step 1, mindset. Before I even touch anything or organize anything in the pantry, I need to get clear on how I want the space to function. So we need to define what the space is actually meant to support. So for us and our family, our pantry is meant to support our meals and also so my kids can be independent and access their snacks as well as their breakfast. So I kind of have an idea of what I want. Ask yourself, what do I want this space to do for me? All right, step 2, minimize. Now, this is the fun part. Here, we're going to declutter. We are going to look for any duplicates, items that you picked up for a one-off recipe. We are going to look for expired food. Now, if you guys watched my pantry declutter in the 5x40 videos, you will have seen that I do accidentally purchase duplicates of certain items. So that is what we're looking for. Are those duplicates now expired? Is there anything that you purchased for a recipe that you intended to use again, maybe you didn't and you still have it, or just something that's gone bad? How about something that maybe you purchased as a snack for the kids and they ended up not liking it and you don't like it, no one eats it in your family, but it sits in your pantry. Now, a couple different things you can do with that. If it's still sealed but good and it's not expired, donate it to your local food bank. I had gotten these for a cocktail that I had made and they just are looking really sad and they expired. I don't think I would use these in another cocktail recipe or anything, so I'm gonna toss these. Take a look through your entire pantry, looking for maybe trash or empty packaging. Sometimes my kids leave empty packages in the pantry, which again, if you guys watched my 5x40 video a few months ago, I went through this entire pantry. I just realized that there's some tortilla chips that have gotten lost in the back of the pantry toward the bottom, but I am not gonna be able to reach back there right now. Let me see how I'm gonna get back there. Oh my goodness. Whew. I found this bag of tortilla chips, and I know this bag is old because we actually have this one. So this must have fallen back there at some point. I don't know how old it is. They're probably stale though, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw those away. But look, the top is even, oh yeah. Oh God, those smell so bad. You know like when tortilla chips get like that stale, icky smell? Yeah, no, those are done. We are gonna move on to step 3, map. Everything needs a home. So in this step, we are gonna determine what homes to give to these items. In the pantry, I want it to work for my family and for my kids to access their food independently, not need to come to mom for help. So the way I've set my pantry up and how I've mapped my pantry out, so these bottom 2 drawers are for the kids specifically. So I've mapped out this bottom drawer is all snacks. So we've got crackers, chips. We actually have nuts down here too, which we did have to move nuts up higher when my 2-year-old was a little bit younger because we were scared, choking hazard. But the nuts have since returned to this bottom drawer. So there's basically a few different zones within this drawer. Also like meat sticks, protein sticks, and then cheesy snacks are also in this drawer. This drawer here is mapped out to be our breakfast drawer, and this breakfast drawer has a couple different zones as well. There's cereals, oatmeals, peanut butter, Nutella, honey, and then we also have school snacks, so bars and fruit snacks, fruit bars, that sort of thing. And then in this drawer is also where bread normally lives. Right now, all we have are tostadas. We currently don't have any bread, but this is where the bread would typically live. So those are the kids' drawers. They're easy for them to access, and they don't need to find me to get a snack. These next two drawers are gonna be our dinner drawers. So again, something that in our mindset, for our pantry to function for us is easy meal planning. So these two drawers are for my dinner meal planning. I've got dry goods dinner, and I don't want to call it like wet food. It sounds like dog food, like wet dog food. No, this is like sauces. So we've got vinegar and hot sauces, canned vegetables, as well as I currently have some squashes in here as well. This is all of our dry goods. So we've got pastas, rice, lentils, and broth, pouch broth, bone broth. So that kind of serves for us in our meal planning. And then this section up here is sweets that I don't necessarily want the kids getting to. And behind that is more overstock type of items. So extra cereal. This here too is all of our candy, which if you guys saw in I'll show you, it's actually looking pretty good. If you guys saw in the 5x40 video that I did, we did spend 5 minutes decluttering this candy bin, and it's looking pretty decent in here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. We've been keeping up with it. So I'll put that back in here. All right, okay, perfect. So now that we have mapped out where we want everything to go, we can move on. Step 4, make it easy, make it beautiful. This is where I can add bins, baskets, labels, some decanting intentionally can come into play. I don't decant everything, only what will genuinely improve visibility or function. So for example, cereal, we do decant cereal in this house. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, my youngest, that I need to be able to see how much cereal they have on hand, and there's no way I'm gonna get them to take a plastic cereal bag and keep it with the box and put a binder clip on it, put it back in the box, and then put it back in the pantry. That's just too many steps. So if that sounds like you in your house, then maybe just take the cereal bag out of the box, throw a binder clip on it. If you really want to write what the cereal is, otherwise you know what the cereal is. It's Cheerios, it's Chex, so on and so forth, and you're able to see how much you have left, and if you need to repurchase some more, then you know, you're seeing it, it's visible, it's not hidden. The goal isn't aesthetic containers, it's clarity and maintenance. So like I said, we decant some cereals and our oats because it helps me see the inventory quickly, but I don't decant everything. I don't have the capacity to decant everything and extra containers. I'm not gonna manage those. But I will remove packaging. So something I do like to do is take items out of their packaging so that, again, I can track the inventory on a more visual scale. I can do a quick scan of my inventory when it's time to go to the store versus having to open up the oatmeal box to see how much oatmeal we have left. It makes it easy. I can see this is where our quantity's at. Same thing with bars and fruit snacks. I like to decant those. It's also easier for the kids to be able to do a quick scan, see what we have as far as snacks goes. And we try to only have 1 or 2 of a category in stock at all times. It kind of keeps the inventory rotating. And this is something that I would typically decant. The container that I would decant them into has one lonely little, what is this, a heavenly hunk? I think it's a heavenly hunk. It's just living in the bag. But these are one-off snacks. I don't buy these every time I go to the store. It's not something we keep in current rotation. It's okay. It's okay to have stuff in their packaging. You don't have to decant everything. Else with Make It Easy, Make It Beautiful, tiered shelf in your pantry might help, possibly with canned goods. Our canned goods are on a 3-tiered shelf. Currently not a good example because I am low on our canned goods right now. This is how I'm able to see and do a quick visual scan of what I need. I can see it all laid out. I did pick up a few extra ingredients for some recipes that I am trying out this week, so this area is kind of more full than normal. Always try to leave a little extra space in your pantry so that if you do have a one-off recipe that you're trying, you have room to add these extra ingredients in here. If I didn't have extra space in my pantry, I would come home with these new ingredients and be like, well, now what am I supposed to do with them? I'm gonna just shove them in the pantry because you didn't have a space for them. You didn't have a home for them. So typically I like to keep a little section in this wet foods drawer of the dinner section in order to make room for one-off ingredients for a new recipe. And then I use this as my limit. So I currently have this whole section is full. I'm not making any other new recipes until I use up what is left in this area. This also carries like my staple, normally has tomato sauce in here. Well, I don't have tomato sauce in here right now because I decided to buy this truffle sauce on a whim and I still haven't used it. So I feel like this is one of those items where I'm probably gonna end up taking it to the food bank, mostly because I've had it in there for so long and I still haven't used it on pasta. This is what's been keeping me from buying more tomato sauce because I have no room for the tomato sauce. Now, if I were to go out and buy tomato sauce, I would have nowhere to put it. So this is currently keeping me from tomato sauce. In the meantime, I've just been making tomato sauce with like all the rest of my canned tomatoes, which honestly tastes better anyway. Something else that's very helpful for pantries are labels. It can be just a small little label on the edge of your pantry that says pasta sauce, that says cereal. That way your kids and the other people living in your house know where things have to go back to. For the most part, my family knows our zones and they know I have mapped out our pantry, but either way, I still do the labels. Now, I do kind of more general labels, and I recommend doing this, especially if you have a constant evolving inventory of items. So for example, I've got this one that says sweets. I have this one that says cookies, so they can kind of be interchangeable. I currently have graham crackers, which here we call graham crackers cookies because, you know, it makes it more of a treat. When you get a graham cracker, it's a cookie. And then sweets currently is housing two lonely little peanut butter bars that are only for mom, so they hide up there. But this makes it so that if we do have extra, let's say we have Oreos, the Oreos can live in this one, they can live in that one. You kind of leave it more of a macro category, and especially for younger kids, it is easier. They don't have to find specifically the jar that says Oreos. You don't have to have Oreos on hand all the time because you have a jar labeled Oreos. Also had that same thing with a container down here. The label came off, but it did say cheesy snacks. So this normally holds either Goldfish or Cheez-Its or another type of like cheesy puff. Would usually go in this container. My husband did pick up a gigantic thing of his pub mix. And this one, I'm not gonna bother decanting it because it already is kind of in a container that is see-through, so he can kind of see his pub mix levels, but he doesn't, this is a one-off purchase. And luckily, we keep space in our cracker snack drawer, similar to the dinner drawer. We keep space in there so that if there is a one-off snack purchase, there is room for it to live in the pantry, and the system can kind of adjust with it because we left space for it. But if he comes home with another kind of snack and it's not gonna fit in the drawer, so he needs to finish that snack or we need to finish something else that's in that drawer before a new snack can come in. All right, so we've covered labels, clear containers when the item calls for it. We've covered removing packaging, bulky packaging, so that you can actually know what inventory you have. And if you do remove that packaging, what are you going to replace it with as far as having a container to hold it? And last but not least, step 5, maintain. This is what keeps everything working and functioning properly. putting things back where they belong into their homes that you've mapped out, doing quick resets every time you go grocery shopping. And by quick resets, I mean throw away the empty packaging when you get home. And also checking your inventory before you go grocery shopping. Checking your inventory before you meal plan. Now, I say this time and time again, it happens to the best of us. We think we are out of ketchup. We pick up a bottle of ketchup at the store. You get home, you realize I already had a backup ketchup to my empty ketchup. My husband just didn't check to see if we had back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus. However, that is how we ended up with multiple ketchups and multiple Sweet Baby Ray's buffalo sauce at one point. Always check your inventory before you go to the store. And it seems like it's gonna take a really long time, but all you have to do, open your pantry. If you have everything zoned and you have everything mapped out to how your brain works and how your family works, you're able to do a quick scan of, do I need Cheerios? Do I need bars? Do I need fruit snacks? Do I need cookies? What do I need? This step seems easy, but you do have to keep up with it. If you take anything away from this, it's that organized pantry isn't about having more bins. It's about having a system that actually works for you and your family. And that's what the M method is all about. Creating spaces that are simple, functional, and easy to maintain. So if you want help applying the M method in your own home, this is the same framework I use when I help clients turn overwhelming spaces into areas that are functional and easy to use day to day. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.